Hi, welcome. Now I am going to show you how to create a percentage distribution for a set of values. Okay, so what I have here is students, about 25 students I have here, and also the marks, their corresponding marks in a particular subject. Okay, so what I am going to do is that I want to find out the percentage distribution of this marks. Okay, for that, before that, what we need to do is we need to calculate the frequency first, then we will calculate the percentage distribution. Okay, so I have the class intervals of 0 to 20. Here it is 0 to 20. We don't have a 0 marks, but so I just included the 0 marks here, but probably you can put 1 to 20 also. That looks fine. And okay, what happens, it considers as a date. Okay, so just 1 to 20. Okay, so now 21 to 40, 41 to 60, and so on. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will calculate the frequency first, then I will calculate the frequency distribution, then I will calculate the percentage distribution. Okay, how can I calculate the frequency? Okay, so I want, for each frequency, I want how many students marks lie in between 1 to 20. Okay, so how many students scored marks in between 1 to 20. Similarly, for how many students scored marks in between 21 to 40. In other words, how many marks are there, individual marks, the count of marks here in between 1 to 20. Okay, whose value is 1 to 20. Okay, so how can I do that? For that, I'm going to use the count ifs function. Okay, count if function will count all the records. Count ifs functions will count only if the ifs condition is satisfied. Okay, count ifs function has more than one if condition. If all the ifs conditions are satisfied, it will count it. Okay, let's do it. Count. Okay, count ifs function, it's going to count if we are going to apply two conditions here. If both the conditions are satisfied, it will count. For the class interval 1 to 20, what is our first condition? The first condition is the lower bound. That means that the marks should be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, and similarly the next condition is the marks should be less than or equal to 20. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a name for the marks, then it will be easier for us to refer here. So I will go. Okay, what I will do here is that I'll just select the marks list, then right click, then go to define name. Okay, I put some name, it already given marks, so I keep the name marks. Okay, once I created the name, so I no need to refer a range, instead I can directly refer the name for this range. Okay, marks. Okay, so now I'll do count if. Okay, count, this one is a count ifs function because we have two condition, more than one condition. Okay, so what is our first condition? First condition, the marks should be greater than or equal to the lower bound, which is 1. Okay, then the next condition comes. So our first criteria range 1 and criteria 1 put together will give one condition. Okay, in count ifs function, the conditions are split into two arguments. One is left hand side and right hand side. Okay, left hand side is criteria range, right hand side is the criteria. Okay, so in this case, left hand side criteria range 1 is nothing but the marks. We are looking to marks. So, and what we are looking to is the lower bound supposed to be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so the range is nothing but where do you want to look into, the where of the condition. Criteria is nothing but what do you want to look into. Okay, for the first condition, I want to look into the where do I want to look into? I want to look into this list. When I select this marks, automatically the name pops out mark because we already defined as marks. Okay, we no need to select every time, we can straight away type in marks. you put m only, you will come up with all the functions as well as the name you defined. The checkbox will show you the name you defined, mocks. So where do I want to look into? In the mocks. What do I want to look into? I want to make sure that it's supposed to be less, greater than or equal to 1, because my first condition is the lower bound condition. Okay, so whichever marks greater than or equal to 1 you need to select. Okay, this is my first condition. What is my second condition? Criteria range 2 and criteria 2. This one also split into two arguments. So one is the left hand side. Where do I want to look into? Again in the mocks. What do I want to look into? The upper bound is supposed to be less than or equal to 20. Okay, I have two conditions. One is for lower bound, one is for upper bound. This is left hand side of the condition, this is right hand side of the condition. Each condition is split by two arguments. Okay, so the ifs function does if both the conditions are true. Okay, if the mocks is greater than or equal to 1 as well as mocks is less than or equal to 20, both the conditions are true, then it will select for counting. Okay, so all those marks satisfying this condition, it is going to count. Then we will automatically get those marks lie between 1 to 20, the count. Okay, so 4. Similarly for the next one, you can drag it because the marks range won't change. Okay, because we named it, so it is always the same set. Okay, but this one we need to change because this time the class interval changes. So this is 21 to 40 and this is also 4. The next one is 41 to 60. The next one is 61 to 80. And final one is 81 to 100. You need to change the class intervals, the lower bound and the upper bound. Okay, fine. So if you add all, the sum must be the frequency, all the frequencies. If you add it, it must be total number of records or total number of students, in this case 25. So you have about 25 students. Okay, now just fine. So now we are going to do the percentage distribution. How can we get the percentage distribution? We need to do the frequency, the individual percentage distribution for this interval 1 to 20 is the frequency divided by the sum, total number of frequency, the individual frequency divided by the total number of frequency into 100. Okay, this is the percentage distribution, and which is 16%. Similarly, you do the next one. You can see here when you drag the formula, it gives a division by 0. Why it is division by 0? Because this is when you drag E3 become E4. Okay, that is fine, frequency of this class interval, but the total number of frequency is this cell, but it moved to relatively to the next cell because you are dragging the formula to the next cell. So whenever you drag the formula, you don't want a particular thing, particular cell value to be moved relatively. You must make them absolute. How to make it absolute? You must put a dollar and dollar sign, then it won't move. So what we need to do, go this formula E3, when you drag it, it must be again E4. Okay, frequency of next class interval, that is fine. E8 is the sum should not go to the next cell, it's supposed to stay there. Okay, to make it absolute, it will stay there. Okay, to make it absolute, okay, you make it absolute. $E$8. $E$8 is nothing but E8, only telling the Excel that you keep this E8 always, don't change anything relatively. Okay, so now you move E8 remains same. Okay, only E3 changed to E4 this time. Similarly E5, but the sum always stays correctly. Next one is 16 and next one is 24. Okay, so if you have the percentage distribution, you must get 100. Okay, this sum, are you getting 100? Yes, we are getting 100. So this is the way you can make the percentage distribution for a set of values. Okay, I hope this example is clear to you, and if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. The add and sum button is already there in the screen itself, and as well as you give your comments and suggestions, you can able to give likes also. And God bless you.